How do user and producer innovations differ?
User innovation and producer innovation are complements. They're necessary to each other. So let me explain a couple ways that systematically user innovations differ from producer innovations. Users reward themselves. They innovate because they expect a benefit for themselves. A surgeon who develops a heart-lung machine can justify it based on his own work in surgery. A kid who develops a skateboard can justify it in terms of his own need and joy in using that tool. If something can be justified just in terms of your own use, that's a very different situation than a producer finds him or her or itself in. A producer has to worry about the extent of the market. They have to say, we don't want to get into production unless a heck of a lot of user customers are out there. What's the result of this? The result is that users are systematically the pioneers. They developed the first skateboard. Why? Because nobody knows if there's a market. One kid wants it. Will two? Will a million? So the producer says, this makes no sense for me given my economic incentives. The user says, this is cool for me because I will get a benefit that justifies my investment.
And that's more than enough.
And that's more than enough. And so users innovate first. Other users then pick it up. Producers just sit there because it's not clear whether there's a big market. Eventually, hundreds, for example, of users are using a skateboard. And at that point, big companies still say, well, that's nothing compared to bicycles. We don't care about that. But a little firm will start out, often coming from the user community itself, with an entrepreneur. And that company will start to show that there is a general market. And so all of a sudden, producers will be able to justify entering. So again, what you see is a period, and it can be typically 10 years, where users are developing either a heart-lung machine or a skateboard. Manufacturers have nothing to do with it. And then manufacturers start to come in.
And when they come in, what they make, is it the same as what the users have pioneered, or is it different?
So the user innovates functional novelty. You know, the first time I do skateboarding, the first time I do a heart-lung machine. And then the user innovates again within this field. So for example, within skateboards, users are the first to curve decks so that they can do ollies. Users of heart-lung machines are the first to change them in order to fit the operations that they're doing better. But manufacturers now improve on the user prototypes. They're doing something different. They make them more reliable. They make them more energy efficient. They do what we call dimension of merit improvements. So they're taking the user's need that the user has demonstrated and pioneered and saying, I can make that better. I can make that more efficient. I can make that smoother. Why is the producer doing that? For two reasons. Number one, they don't have to understand the need as well. It's a dimension of merit improvement, smoother, more reliable. But number two, the entire market will want a more reliable heart-lung machine or a better built skateboard. So with the kind of dimension of merit innovations they produce, they serve the whole market. They prefer those to the pioneering inventions that users make. Like, oh, I didn't know you wanted to do an ollie. I don't know there was a market. And I still don't until a lot of people start doing ollies. So the pioneering again comes in. Users pioneer, producers make dimension of merit improvements.
And this forms the basis of their complementarity.
Yes, exactly. And so producers can benefit and have benefited over the years. As I say, over half the important innovations in different fields that we studied come from users. Producers benefit because they can adopt user innovations that have been proven in the field. Users also benefit because they can get a cleaner, smoother, neater version of that thing they pioneered. And it spreads and diffuses, and a new market has been born.